We're going to do a completely different haircut. The other day I showed you some razor techniques. I'm going to add some razor. I'm going to do some interior cut into this exterior cut. But tell me what stands out on this haircut right now as you're looking at it on the screen. What exactly is it that you see? What's that? Bowl? Bulk. Where's the bulk? Right above this parietal ridge right here, we have a lot of bulk. Now, is this good bulk or bad bulk? Why you say it's good bulk? Okay, so this guy's okay with walking around looking like this? Okay, so is it good bulk or bad bulk? So it's good because I can fix it. That's a great perspective. But what is the main focus? Is to create a what? I asked a lot of questions, so. Transition. Say that again. Transition. Blend. Say that again. What are the three things we focus on? Length, shape, and direction. So if this person is wearing this haircut down like this, is this bad weight? Okay, so let me take a little bit of this right here. Let me use a little bit of this glooming. No, I don't want this one. Okay, perfect. As a matter of fact, I'm just using this water. So if I take a little bit of this water, right, and I begin to change the direction of this hair, also adding a little bit of heat. Hook me up right here, somebody, please. This white one. Thank you. Thank you. So if I'm styling the hair up, and this is the style that this person is wearing their hair, does that bulk then matter? As you're taking a look at this, does the bulk then matter? It doesn't at all. So bulk is not necessarily bad unless it doesn't fit the haircut. So this person can only wear their hair back like this in order to conceal that weight. Unless, of course, they want to expose the weight and then they walk around looking like this. But who does this make look bad? Makes the barber look bad. That looks like they don't know what they're doing. So one of the things that I talk about when it comes to haircutting and styling is the consultation is extremely important because I need to know what you do on a regular basis. What is it that you do? How do you wear your hair? What is it that you do so that way I can ensure that if you're not doing your hair one day, that at the very least, this looks half decent and I still look like a decent barber. If not, I'm going to be dealing with this and also affecting my reputation. Even this bulk back here, if I style this hair up, it's not really an issue. A little bit of water, affect the H-bonds. If I blow dry this hair up, it's not really an issue. Now I'm just doing it quickly just so you can see, but the problem is that this style doesn't fit the haircut. So we gotta create the haircut to make it match. And we can still leave a lot of this right here and even some of the weight on the side, but I wanna ensure that we're gonna have a really good look so we can produce a great haircut. And at the same time, I don't have to worry about being embarrassed because someone is not making me look too good out there in these streets. First thing I wanna do in this case is I do wanna dry this hair a little bit. So all I'm doing is drying this down in a direction that I want it to naturally fall. I'm just brushing it and blow drying it down in its natural fall. I don't want that much weight. So there's a few things to fix this real quick. First thing is selecting the right comb. Which color comb do you think I should use? Why do you think you use a black comb? Because the hair is lighter. Even though the hair is lighter, I can still see the hair through the comb, right? But I really can see the hair through the comb with the black. So black would be the best comb in this particular case. All I'm going to do is remove a little bit of that weight real quick. I'm gonna go from the crown to section some of this hair off and move it to the side real quick. Just get it out the way. I only want to focus on this little bit of weight that's right here. So I'm just getting this out the way. Once I grab this hair, my guide is down here at the bottom. Do you see it? Gary, you see that guide? I'm gonna take this the whole ways up. There's where my weight is. My guide's still at the bottom. Remove that weight. I'm still maintaining the shape of this cut as I'm going up. Soften that bulk up a little bit. When I'm lifting this hair up, I'm looking for the guide in the haircut. Here's the hair right here, and then up here. So it doesn't matter if I go in an angle or not. Here's my guide at the top. I can trim that, and that takes away that weight line, or minimizes it in this case. So all I'm doing is just removing a little bit of this weight, working my way up, working my way straight up, softening that up. Look how high above that weight where I'm lifting this hair. I trim that so that when it falls in place and I don't have as much weight. This is a little bit of discoloration. So in this particular model, or this mannequin, they colored the hair and it's just a little bit darker there. So I'm not really gonna put too much emphasis on removing a whole lot of this weight, but I do wanna blend some of this in just a little bit. Do y'all see what I'm doing? Does it make sense how I use the clipper over comb to remove some of that weight? I can go in and do a whole lot more detail. The thing I want to focus mostly on is the top. What we're going to do to the top, creating texture and movement in the hair. But I don't have as much weight as I did. Do you see that? We're going to keep working our way around this head. Working my way down. Working my way down. Blend that in. Weight up top. Weight right between there. Weight right in the middle. Weight right at the bottom. Soften all, blend all that in. Did you see that? Again, I'm gonna do the same thing over here. We're removing this weight here, but the weight from here actually starts up here. It didn't start here. This is just where you see it. So first thing I wanna do is lift this hair up, find where my guide is, there right there, that's getting cut off. Lift up some more, my guide is falling out, trim that off. Lift up some more, my guide is right at the top, trim that off. Right below that, my guide is at the top. Do you see it? And then right here at the bottom. See how we remove the weight? Go ahead in here, just remove some more weight. So it doesn't matter which angle I'm holding this comb, as long as my guide's at the bottom and the top. Guide at the bottom, guide at the top. Did y'all catch that? This is some of the stuff that you was dealing with today, Gary. So I'm gonna remove some of this weight and then I'm gonna focus mostly on the top. So again, line of demarcation, discoloration, this is affecting the whole haircut because this didn't get totally lightened and then this transitions into here. So I have darker hair underneath this lighter hair, which is gonna affect my haircut unless I take this completely off. But we're not gonna focus too much on the sides, we're gonna focus mostly on the top. I just wanna get rid of some of this weight. See my weight right there? From the bottom, this is where I would start. I'm gonna start at the top. I'm gonna go straight in, create a section right above the parietal ridge. I'm gonna go ahead and lift this out as a little tangle right there. As I lift this out, remove this little bit of weight. There it is. Go right below that, guides right there. You see it falling out? When I lift that up, it falls out. This gets cut off. Right below that, guides at the top, that gets cut off. Guides at the top, that right there at the bottom gets cut off. And I just completely removed all that weight that was right there on the side. Weight gone. Did you catch it? I cut it up top and work my way down to here because I don't want to go lower than this. If I need to, I'll go in and just clean this up just a little bit just to double check. I'm not worried about the weight. I just want to see what's underneath here. Again, I can't tell because the hair color doesn't match. The big thing I want to focus on is length, shape, and direction of the actual cut that we're going to be doing on top. I still have a little bit of weight in here. So in order for me to get that, right there, lift this up, there it is. Right below it, right below it, right above it, above it. Much better now, do you see that? Okay, anybody have any question about what I did in removing the bulk with clipper over comb? Anyone? Nothing? We good? Okay. So what I want to do now is I'm going to lightly mist this hair. I don't want it to be drenched and soaking wet. Just want to damp it a little bit so I can get a little bit of a movement in this hair. I want it to fall in its natural form. Where's the first spot that I'm going to cut in this haircut? Can anyone tell me? Say that again? I'm going to be cutting at the apex. So grab me, use this comb, not a little black one. Right here at the apex, what I'm going to do with this cut is I'm going to create a crop cut with texture on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is right at this apex, I'm going to go ahead and make a horizontal cut right at the apex, pulling the hair at 90 degrees. So the first thing I'm gonna do is create my section. This is going to be a squared box cut. Can anybody tell me what direction I'm gonna be pulling the rest of this hair? No, 90 was the no. Anybody else? Over directed to the apex. I am, which is gonna create a what? You're right. He said over direct the hair to the apex, which brings the hair at what degree? 145. Who said that? The guy in the back said it. So this is going to be a 180-degree haircut. The first thing I'm going to do is, let me put him sideways so you guys can see him. Get a little focus on here. Ready? Bam. No focus? Okay. Now it's focused. Look at that. Get this focus first. All right, cool. So either I'm going to stand in front of them or stand behind them in this case, so you guys can actually see. I'm going to stand right here, making sure you guys can actually, is this right good right here? You can see on the screen? I'm good? All right. So my first section is right at the apex, the highest point of the head. I'm cutting straight across. I'm going to hold on to this section. I'm going to grab the very next section. I'm going to bring this with this section, and I'm going to go ahead and cut directly across, creating a square on the top. I'm going to remove half of this section from the back. I still am holding on to the front part of the section. I'm going to move forward to my next section, holding two sections. Did y'all catch that? This is how I'm traveling through the top without losing my guide and have to put it down and pick it up. Cut that off. You can't see it right there? Bad angle, we good? You sure? Okay. So as I cut this off, I'm cutting, as I'm going through, I'm taking half of this off, moving it back, and then I'm going to the next section right in front of it, bringing it to my guide, while maintaining the guide the whole time, and I'm going ahead and cut it. What type of cut am I doing right now? We talked about the different types of cuts. There's two different on Monday. Exterior cutting and right now I'm just focused on the exterior cutting because I'm trying to create the shape. So I went from the apex to a little bit past it. I'm not quite at the frontal. I want to leave about 2 finger lengths in the front. So I have one more section that I'm going to cut, and I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to go ahead and square this off. Now that I have the shape that I want on the top, I have this squared box section. I'm going to go back to my apex. I'm going to lift this hair up from the side. So if you can see this, I'm grabbing the hair from the side over here, going straight up and creating this square across the top. So this haircut's going to go completely across top. As I keep bringing this hair up, This hair is going to reach this comb and it's going to be straight across the whole waist. What that's going to do is this hair is going to be longer, this hair is going to be shorter, and it's going to create a boxy look. Do you all see it? Okay, good. I'm going to go ahead over, cut this. I'm going straight across, over directing this hair from the side, lifting it straight up at 180 degrees, cutting that off. I'm going through this cut, lifting this hair, over directing it, find my guide right up top, directly across. Same thing as I'm moving through. I'm just going section by section, straight across. Move half of this out the way, go to the next section, lift this up. Anything sticking up and over that, I'm cutting that off, I'm going straight across. I'm just creating the exterior shape of this cut. Okay? Does it look like I did much of anything there? It don't look like it. It still kind of looks the same, but you see me actually cutting a lot of hair off, right? Back to the apex on this side, lift this up. There's my guide, cut that right off. Lift this up. There's my guide, cut this off. I'm good, next section. Lift this up. I'm bringing my fingers from the scalp or the base of the head, and I'm over directing this hair, maintaining the tension back to my original guide. Next section, same thing, lift this hair up, bring it up to my guide at the top as I'm traveling through, and cut that off. What I did was not that difficult, okay? Now, because I pulled this up to the side, can anyone tell me what actually happened? I already said it, but I don't know what you're saying, what you remember. What's up with this hair? It should be longer than the middle, because the apex is the highest point. So if I create a guide at the apex, anything where the hair begins to round is traveling a little bit higher, and it should be a little bit longer. If I measure this hair, here's where my guide is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. When I measure this one, and I comb this up, and I measure this one, it's just right at the 6th circle. So it's a little bit longer. It's not much, but it's a little bit longer. Now that I have this cut on the top, I need to create some movement in the front. So because we said this is going to be a crop fringy type of haircut, I'm going to now begin to over direct this hair up to the apex. Or not quite, I'm sorry, not quite to the apex, right in between, halfway between the apex and the front. And as you can see, from here, that hair needs cut. Here's another thing. When you guys are cutting with your shears, notice that my thumb is not all the way in. I'm just resting this area of my thumb on my shears. And I'm only using my thumb to cut the hair. Next section. I'm over directing it to the same area. So I'm gonna maintain my guide, cut that. Next section. I'm just working in the middle. Over direct that hair midway between the apex and the frontal. It's now squared in the middle. I'm gonna leave this alone, but I'm gonna go a little bit behind it, lift this up. Anything sticking over there that needs cut, trim that. Same thing, over direct, clean that up. Work my way over, I'm gonna leave these ends alone, only because it's a mannequin. Now over here, this was cut too deep. This mannequin was already cut. But look at my fingers. My finger in the same guide that I originally had? Huh? No, it's tilted. So I want to grab this, make sure I go up to my guide and position my finger so that way I can cut straight across. Now the length, does it look like I cut a lot of length off? Still looks exactly the same. What I did is made it slightly shorter. You can't tell, I basically thinned it out because I did some, now if I want to do some layering, watch this, I'll pull this straight out. My guide is here. Cut that off. I just went straight down the middle. Next section. Here's my guide. You see it? Coming straight down. Remove that. Go to, on the opposite side. There's my guide. Straight down. Now it's just a little bit shorter. Do you see that? But do you see how already I have a little bit of movement in this hair? You see it? What we want to create is a fringed style cut. I'm going to make these bangs a lot shorter for the sake of the look, but I want to give you how this haircut is created. It's squared on the top. This is a little bit longer, so everything's boxy. This is not a rounded cut, which requires a little bit of weight on the side. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and do some more cutting. So that was too far of over direction. So I'm going to go ahead, bring it up a little bit more, cut some more off. My guide's right there. Cutting that off. There's my guide. Cut that off. Now, what I'm doing, does this look difficult? What is your apprehension or your fear when you're doing something like this on the top of someone's head? Say that? You cut too much off. So did you see the first time I cut it, I over-directed. The more you over-direct it, the longer it's going to be. So I went further back, cut it. If it was too long, I don't go back as far. If it's still too long, I don't go back as far, and then I slowly start bringing it out. So if you notice, it's a little bit low, it's a little bit shorter, and it's a little softer in the front. It's not as heavy. Wait, do you guys see that? All right. I still want to go a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to go ahead and section this out. I'm going to pull this out at 90 degrees from where the hair grows. My guide is right there. You see it? I'm pulling this out at a 90, and I'm going to cut this off. Same thing, doesn't matter where. Lift this up. As long as I'm pulling this at a 90, it's going to give me my same exact cut. Work my way across. As long as I pull this out at a 90, cut that. See how it's a little bit shorter now? Now I can go in because we're doing a crop cut, and I can be really creative with this. So there's a few things I could do depending on what direction we want to go. Because this is going to be a cropped style cut, and when I say crop, we're talking about it's going to be fringy, spiky movement. Somebody asked about the texture powder in the hair, so we're going to do some of that today, right? So I'm filling the hair. What I need is movement, right? Do I want this to be long here? Do I want this to be long over here? I purposefully left that long. Remember, I kept leaving it alone? This is the length I want, and I actually want to go even a little bit shorter. So this crop cut is going to have a lot of fringe and movement in the front. I can go in, if I want to, and create big cuts. Do you see those big cuts I just put in there? It softly creates a little bit of movement. I'm going to leave this piece long. I'm going to go ahead, over direct this a little bit towards me, leaving this long piece alone. I'll go in, make a couple more big cuts. The rule is this. If you learn the rules like a pro, you can break them like an artist. Do you see what I just created right there in the front? I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to start working with this. Combing that out, creating a little bit of movement. I have a lot of weight right in there. Same thing here. Trim some of this, go in. Soften that up. I want this to be long right here. I want this piece over here to be long. So that means that this piece is going to be short. So I'm going to go right on in, cut this, and creatively create my little fringe that I want in the front. So for some of you, you may be like, whoa, that's too scary. I don't know what I'm doing. The rule is learn the rules like a pro so you can create like an artist. You can break the rules like an artist. This is just one little shape. I can be as creative as I want. What I did was I did 90-degree cutting. I did a little bit of over-directing. If I don't like it, because I can always go shorter if I want to, cut that right off. But I don't want to. I want to create a cool little look. You see where this is a little bit heavy right here? How do you think I can remove some of the bulkiness? I want the shape. I'm not worried about the choppiness. I want this shape that I have right here. But how do I remove this little weight right here? Anybody tell me? Say that again. I can do a little interior cutting. How? Do some point cutting. That'd be one way. I could do a little bit of carving. I could do that as well. I'll give you the simple one that most of you do all the time. No, you pull it out of the 90. So the same little spot right here, the same little spot right here, if I pull this out at a 90 degree, there's my guide, and I go ahead and I trim this, I just softened up that bump. You see it? The bump is now gone. It's not as heavy. It's actually a little bit softer. It's very, very light, but it's softer. Did you see it all happen? So the thing is now I can go ahead and start doing some other stuff. So there's a few other things that I can do. I know I talked to you a little bit about texturizing shears. I'm going to go ahead and use this razor and do a little bit of cutting. If you're doing some razor cutting techniques, the one thing you want to do most certainly is make sure that the hair is damp. If you start doing some razor cutting while the hair is dry, you're going to be pulling the hair. It's going to be very irritating to your guests, right? So that's not something that you want to do. This is water, but a little bit of hair tonic in it. That's why it's colored. Now you have to be careful when you're using a colored tonic because it could also, because it has like color in it, it could also change the color of the hair. I really enjoy tonic because it becomes, not only it helps with styling agent, it also helps to keep your shears and your razor to glide smoother. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do, there's razor rotation where I can follow the comb and I'm doing light tapering around razor rotation. I'm breaking it down in quadrants, my umbrella. All I'm doing is lightly rotating my way around the head. Razor rotation. That out of there, I'm just slowly working my way around the head. What type of tapering? What are the 3 types of tapering I shared with you? Terminal, very good. Very good. Continue. HT is what? Nope. Heavy tapering. And then LT, light tapering. Okay? So all I want to do, I'm filling the hair. Where does it feel heavy? That's good. There's another way you can use the razor to remove weight on the side as well. So let's take a look at this weight we got right here. So this little bit of weight right here that I have, I can take the razor. You could have did that today. That guy's hair is very fine though. I wouldn't recommend it on very fine hair. Because you cut too much off. What angle? What type of taper am I doing right now? Nope. That was more heavy. It was more like a 45. All I'm doing is rotating around where this weight is. Do you see the weight going away? Okay. So these are all techniques that you can use. If I want to go ahead and create more movement in the top, I don't really need the razor for that. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of point cutting. I'm going to do actually some more notching. Hair's moving around, it's doing what I want. Go back to the apex. Go ahead, did you guys ever like try and cut hair and you see how it's splitting on both sides? And it gets frustrating, you want to cut your knuckle, the hair's flipping on this side and it's flipping on that side. What do you think you do in order to do that? Wetting is a good technique. What's that? Comb it to one side. That boy's special over there. Comb it to one side. I'm going to grab this hair, lift this up, and I'm just going to comb it to that side. Now it's not going each direction. I'm going to sit my shear on my finger. Go ahead and create some notches in the hair. That's interior cutting. I'm going to go up forward a little bit more. And if you don't sit it on your finger, when you go to make your cuts, what you want to do is, I'll show you right now. I'm going to exaggerate the move though. So I like sitting it there because you're not going to cut yourself, right? But if you're not comfortable with that, you go in and you cut going out. So you go in, cut going out. Go in, cut going out. It creates texture on the ends of the hair, which creates movement and direction. I got a little bit. I don't really want to cut nothing on the side. Why am I not cutting anything on the side? I want the weight. I want the weight on the side. I want it to be slightly longer. So all my cutting is really happening right in the middle. I can do the same thing here, right up front, go right on in, cut on the way out, cut on the way out, cut on the way out. Right there is a lot of weight right there. So what I'm gonna do, right there where that weight is, cut on the way out, cut on the way out, cut on the way out. Do you see that? I want that movement. It doesn't look like I did anything, but now look at the movement I have. Look how the hair is sticking up. Okay? I'm feeling it. Feels pretty good. It still might be a little bit too much in the front, but we'll see in a second. So now that I'm feeling this hair, it feels pretty much like I want. I got more weight on the side, which works for me. Except for this side was a little cut into, but I have more weight on the side than I do on the top. So what I want to do is add a little bit of product. This product is something similar to that wool shake that we talked about the other day, right, on the video. So what I want to do, put a little bit in there. And remember what he did. He wanted to get it right on the inside to grate it and make some texture, make it feel a little bit rougher, make it wool up. This isn't going to wool up, but it'll start getting tacky in a second, and it helps to make it look fill and become a little thicker on the interior of this hair. I don't want it in the front because I don't want that to stick out. I want this to still be slick in the front. But what I want this right here, I want to get some lift. So what I'm doing is putting this, I think I'm good with that on the inside. The next thing I want to do is I want to get a light, this is like a fiber paste. I'm emulsifying this product in my hand. So you don't really see it. It has a little bit of a shine to it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just hit the tips. Just hitting the tips of this hair. Tips of this hair. Tips of this hair. Working my way through. And as I'm doing, I begin to feel it starting to stick. Do I want the hair to go to this side? Do I want it to go to this side? Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out as I start becoming more creative with it. Now that I have that in there, next thing I want to do is I want to go from the apex and work my way around this. I already have some movement in this hair. I already have a lot of movement in this hair. But what I want to do now is I want to slowly work this around, following the shape of the head. And you might ask, like, why did you do all that to create the texture and lift it up, but then flatten it out? Because it's going to help to be a base for when I start styling this hair. I just wanted to put it in there. And if you notice, I'm making a circle right around the middle here and following the direction of this natural hair growth. You don't want to fight with the hair. You want to make sure that you're following what the hair is doing. So if the hair is going one way, why would you push it an opposite way? I'm just following the direction of this hair. As this dries up, it'll start to stick up. You probably can't see it from there, but from here, you begin to see some of that sticking up a little bit. So all I'm doing is working my way around. I don't want it to be completely dry. As I'm working my way around, I want to slowly get it to where it's not quite damp, but still movable with a little bit of moisture. And instead of moving my whole body around, you notice how I switch hands? I'm switching hands as I'm working my way around. Now that I'm working my way around, let me feel it. It's still slightly damp. Can anyone tell me why they think that this mannequin feels slightly damp? What's that? No, the tonic will help to keep it a little bit slippery, but actually is good for the scalp, and it really, really helps to get shine and movement in the hair, but it's a base for the product. I don't think it's the tonic. I think it has to do with the fact that this mannequin was lightened, and the chemical process, for whatever reason, is making it stay a little bit more moist. That's what it feels like. Because most of the jakes, if you start drying them, they dry it pretty good. This one stays wet for a while. Notice what I'm doing now is I'm kind of teasing it as I'm going around. You see that soft lift? The sides, now I want to move forward. I want to move this forward. When I move this forward, I lose that weight. If I want to create more lift in here, I lift this hair from the root, lift it up, pull it. I want it to go forward, but I'm gonna lift it and pull. Lift it, pull, lift it, pull. You see how I'm getting the hair to lift up? If I want to create some shape on the side here, I want you to look at what I'm doing with this round brush. I'm gonna grab this hair here, push this up, push this up. This hair right here, I'm gonna twist it, but as like a spiral, work my way down the head. You see what's happening to the hair? You see all that movement in the hair now? And to be quite honest with you, I have a look in mind that I want to do, but I'm playing with the hair and filling it out. That's the cool thing about the art of hair, is that you can create as you're going along, especially if it's a client that you know you can be creative with. So I'm gonna grab this hair. Once I grab it, I'm just rotating it slowly, working my way down. Do you see the movement in the hair? Use my fingers, dry some of that up on the side. Now this feels really rough right now, which I like, it's what I want. This in the front needs a little bit of work right here. I can't see it. Bring this down. All right, cool. What I want, what I want. The movement there. You can actually go a lot shorter with this too. So one of the things that you could do, now you see how rough this looks? I'll see if you can see it from the top. Do you see how rough this hair looks? It looks really, really rough. It's actually soft, but it's rough because I created a lot of volume. It's all that short hair inside, lifting that up. However, if I want to, I can still flatten this hair out. But because I affected those H-bonds, they're gonna wanna lift, and it's gonna make it easier for me to make them lift. So as I begin to manipulate the hair, I can get the hair to lift up because I've already affected those H-bonds. Okay? So when you were asking about the texture powder of the hair, one of the things, and I'm showing you a variety of things right now. So I hope that you're not waiting to see like an overall look. I really want to just show you. What I want to do is I'm gonna move this around. It's basically like a sea salt product. The other thing is almost similar to like a dry shampoo. If you think of sea salt and the beachy hair, it has that brittle, dry, rough. That's exactly what this product does. So what I'm doing is I'm just manipulating the hair, going in, and if you could feel what this is doing to the hair. So I'm gonna leave some of these products for you to mess with so you can feel what it does to the hair. But if you have a mannequin that you can work on, I just want you to feel how this is actually changing the texture of the hair. I'll pass this around. I want you to feel how soft it is here, and then in here, I want you to feel the difference right there.
Is that powder only on dry hair?
So yeah, you want it to be dry. It could be slightly damp, but you don't want it wet. You want it more dry because it's going to make it a little gritty. Do you feel how gritty it is? Right at the apex, feel at the apex. Do you feel that right there? And then in the back, right behind the crown, it's a lot softer. Yeah, so pass it around so they can feel it, and then I'll take. We'll try to finish something up with this guy. You guys feel, so before I even finish this, any questions about what you saw or what you felt? I'm just showing you different techniques. We're not really looking like an overall finished cut, but I wanted you to see different techniques. Any questions about what you saw?
I have a question.
What's the question?
How do you know if you start at the apex or the bang? It depends on the cut.
Great. Well, no, there's not really a wrong way. Should I start in the front or should I start at the apex? My way is the apex. You feel the difference in that hair?
Yeah.
So depending on what you're trying to do, now I'll show you something else that we're going to do with this in a second. But depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve. So to answer your question, how far do they want their bangs cut? You can go here, and let's say they want it right at the bridge of their nose. The bridge of their nose, you cut it. Then you can take this back, and this can become your guide, right? What you have to keep in mind that is the head rounds from the apex down towards the front. You want the hair in the front to be longer than the back, than the apex. If I cut this 1 inch and I cut this 1 inch, it's gonna look shorter in the front. But if I cut this 1 inch and this is 1.5 inches, it's gonna look like it's even. If I cut this 1 inch and it's 2, it's gonna look like it's even. That's the key. The key is to keep the front longer. So I'm always cutting from here, and this is generally a good guide for me because I know this is gonna be short. Then I begin to over direct it, and as I keep cutting my bangs, I'll cut them, over direct them, cut them, over direct them to the apex, cut them, over direct them to the apex. When it drops, if it's too long, then instead of going to the apex, I'll go in front of the apex. So it might take me a few times. If it's somebody I've been cutting for a long time, I know exactly where to go. But if I've never cut you, I want to take the safe route. So let me over direct this hair to the apex, cut it, right? Keep working, look at it, a little bit more. No problem. I just don't go as far as the apex, cut it. Do it again, nope, no problem, boom, boom, boom. And I just keep going at steps, baby steps. Start at the apex by over directing it there. And then, let me get that. And then after you do that, after you do that, then you can slowly work your way back. I was just trying to have fun and be creative, right, with some of this stuff, having this short up front. But there's a few things you could do to actually make this look a little bit better. This up here feels really, really gritty. So the more you put on, the more gritty it's going to be. If you want it to be woolly, like fuzzy, then you can put a lot more. You don't have to be fuzzy though. If it gets fuzzy, I use the back of the comb and separate that. I just separate that up. So that way it doesn't stay like knotty looking. I'm still working my way around in the direction that the hair is growing. So now when I look at this, from the top, I still have my shape. It doesn't look fuzzy it's still sticky, right? But look what I can do now. I can grab this hair and I can pinch pieces. And as I'm pinching pieces, I'm now manipulating the hair to create a new style, another look. Just grab a piece and start pulling the hair out. Grab a piece, because it already has product. See how now I'm getting the spikes? You guys seen it on Instagram and you've seen all these spikes all around the hair. You're like, how the heck you get the spikes? How do you get those little swirly spikes? So look what I'm doing. Just grabbing the hair and manipulating it around, following the shape. Somebody text Alex, tell him he's missing it. So as I'm working the way around this head, all I'm doing is being creative in how I want this to look. Go to my theory. Say that again? Yeah, they're doing all kind of stuff. So as I'm working my way around the head, all I'm doing is grabbing pieces. And you saw how I did it. So don't ask me later on, how do you get them little spikes? But look what I'm doing around the head. You see the spikes? What do you say? That's how to get dressed too, right? Yeah, I mean, it's the same. You can use the product to help to get the hair to be gritty. You can definitely do that. I mean, they use beeswax, but wax is a little bit more slippery. This stuff right here, it could definitely stick and you can start to get the hair to coil up. But look at how I'm just pinching this hair to create movement. I can also use my comb to clean some of that up. This is the part where it becomes more tedious. It's just grabbing the hair and creating different looks and styles. If you need to, see how it's a little bit fuzzy? One of the things I like to do is I'll put a little bit of product on my hand like this, take my fingers, pinch it on the ends, and now I'm getting that fuzziness away. Now I'm getting more of a sharper, cleaner point. You can make it go whatever direction you want. I can do all this stuff because I'm shaping the hair first. It's the foundation for the application. What I did was I dried the hair to go in the direction I want. I manipulate the hair. I added texture to the hair first before I cut it. And then because I did that, that's the foundation of the hairstyle. It's a good cut. Once I go through and do that, now I can go ahead in and apply foundation to the application to the hair itself and create these little shapes that I want. And now I have all this separation with the texture that I just put in the hair and work my way around. If I want to work on the front, same thing. I can look at the front, take my hands, right here, I can grab this piece. I can actually separate this into a few pieces. Take this piece, take this piece. Now I have two pieces hanging right there. Same thing here. I can have it, which way I want to go. If I want to turn it this way, now I can turn it that way. If I wanted to turn it out this way, I can have it turn out this way. You could do whatever you want. If I just keep working with this little bit of product, grab the hair, move the hair around, I'm creating this look. Once I do this, if I want to, you see the difference? Now, it's not polished, it's not finished. I still have all this fuzziness in here. It's just going in and grabbing pieces and making them stand out. Did I do anything that was really difficult? I think everything I explained, you guys understand because I did a 90-degree on the top. I over-directed the sides to make it 180 to keep that boxy look. This would look better if this was to the skin and a lot tighter. That would complete this haircut, right? I could clean this up and make it a lot better. I'm just showing you some product styling techniques. I'm not trying to create a finished overall look. I'm just trying to get you to see how to manipulate the hair to get the hair to do what you want to do with it. Okay, so if I wanted to make this, let's try and complete this on at least, at the very least on this side. We got a few minutes, so if I was to go in and on this side, cut this short. Just gonna focus on the side only right now. So there's my weight. It already starting to look better and it just has just the weight on it. Open this up. Make some small adjustments right there in between. Small little adjustments in between. There's the weight. Remember, this haircut is a little bit weighted, so I do want some weight. But now, it already looks better. It has a much better appeal to it. It's not done. But I'm just trying to show you the technique. I would even say we could take it up just a little bit higher. In this particular case. So the one thing about cutting wet hair, wetter is better, but dry don't lie. So if you already have your haircut and you have your style, I can cut this the way I want it looking dry so that way it stays in place. But right here, lift this up, cut that right off. Looks a little better already. Put my 1 on there. And it already looks better on that side. Cut that, make that bald. Any questions about what I did here, even on the reverse blending? No? You're a tough crowd, man. I mean, you're staring, you're watching, I'm seeing head nods, but give me some feedback here. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. So the 90-degree stuff was simple. How to fade, you see I just did that reverse fading technique that didn't take me longer to do. Blonder hair is going to be easier to blend real quick. This could get touched up even some more. I'm not really focused on making this a perfectly clean, finished look. I'm really trying to show you different techniques on how to achieve different looks. The way you're blow drying the hair, that was one. The way I'm manipulating the hair to get lift to it, that's number 2. There were so many little gems in the middle of this that if you're actually paying attention, then go and apply them, you'll get some really good results. You just have to try it. You just have to try it. I know when you was blow drying the hair earlier today, that made a huge difference in the direction when you was blowing it, right? It was the way that you was manipulating that hair. Some challenges, but you know, had to just do it. So that's the difference maker. In this case, I mean, it doesn't take long to create these types of looks. And I'm just freehanding the rest of that fade out because there's weight up top. In this case, if I wanted to, here's a cheat code. A lot of people do it too. They'll do is they'll have some weight and they don't want to fix it. They'll just go ahead and put a little part in there. Right? I mean, and if you have somebody that you're trying to create with and someone's allowing you to be creative, why not? Now this has that. If I want to go tighter, I can make this tighter on here and leave that weight there. It's a lot of different things you could do. This is just the creative part of cutting. This is the fun stuff. When clients say, hey, you could do what you want, I love those guys. Those guys, I'm like, what? You want me to do whatever I want? I would even go in here, cut this off. It ain't moving. Take my shear, chop that right off. Take my liner, go right in and clean that. Clean this hair right here. You can do whatever you want, especially with somebody who wants something creative. Do the same thing on this side. Go right into that part. Cut all that right off. These little hairs right here and carve some of them out. I mean, I can keep going. There's all kind of stuff you could do with this, but I just wanted to show you guys a few little techniques on how to use your products, how to manipulate the products, how to be resourceful with your products, but know what your products are doing. That's the key. If I don't know what the products are doing, I'll tell you what I did. I use a hair tonic that allows the shear to slide through there, the razor to slide through there, so I'm not pulling the hair and causing damage to the guest. That's number one. The second thing I did was I used this, it's almost like a sea salt spray. It says salty, not sorry. It's just this product. I knew that just by the product, because it was salty, that it was gonna make the hair a little gritty. I used that as a base at the scalp to create a fullness at the base. That's why this looks really full at the base, right? Then I went ahead and I used a flex paste on the edges of that just to get some product on the end so that way eventually I could do this. If I didn't have enough, then I would just grab some more product, put on my hand, and add some more. But because I knew I was going to do that. Before that, I used the texture powder just to make it rough so you can feel the difference in it. Somebody who has fine hair might not be, you gotta play with it, right? Depending on how fine their hair is, it might not be a good source. But more peaks, more valleys create more texture, more movement, because then the little hairs don't stick together. We watched that on that video. Blow drying techniques help, manipulating the hair, all that stuff. If I want to mess this up, I can't, but I can always put it back to the way it is. Thanks, guys.
So,
Yes.
now you said that the texturizers that you used on there was similar to dry shampoo.
Yeah, so this product is a powder play, is what this one's called. Some of it called fiber. This is different. It's completely different than this. They both called fiber powder. This is an enhancement. This is probably a terrible enhancement to put on anybody to get a line and have them walking out the door with. If it's for photos, it's a great little tool. If you're doing a men's hair replacement, right, you want to fill in some of them gaps because you're using a bunch of glue anyway, might be a decent product. This is not something you want to put on somebody because when they wash it, it's gone. Your hair color is going to stick a little bit longer. This is not this. This is fiber to simulate hair to make it look fuller. This actually makes the hair feel more textured or more fuller. It's similar to like a sea salt. It makes the hair look rough and feel gritty. That's what you all felt when you was touching hair. It felt completely different in the back. The back was soft. This was really, really rigid, really rough, really woolly. That's what this product does. So if you need to create fullness and you want lift, create movement, some of it's really, really simple. Like with your hair, you can add a little bit of powder, move your fingers around, manipulate the hair. You don't got to get all these spikes. It will create movement in the hair. It also lifts it up just a little bit. Well, something like this. So what's it for? If I'm just doing this because I want to do a photo shoot, I'm charging them a bit. If it's somebody who wants this haircut. So when it comes to pricing, I don't tell people how they should price what they do. However, let's take into consideration the price point of haircuts right now. You got a lot of people at home cutting for $40, $35, $40. You got professionals with license cutting for $25, $30. There's something wrong there. Something's wrong. If you can get it for $40 with no license in your crib, when you get a license and you're in the shop, you definitely can get it for $60, $75. Okay, easily. Something like this that requires a lot more time. I know I'm actually going to spend more time styling the hair than I am going to cut the hair. The cutting is going to be quick. It only took me a while because I was explaining it, but the cutting is going to be quick. I'm going to get through this haircut real quick. I'm going to spend a lot more time styling. Styling means I'm using more product because I had to base it. I had to cocktail it. I had to use a lot more product. All this stuff costs money. So I want to take into consideration, what does it take for me to do this? I'm not really concerned with the time because I charge by the half hour, by the quadrant. Half hour pricing, hour pricing for the most part. If I'm styling your hair, I just did a woman the other day. I'll show you the picture when I get off stage. You can go hit the M button. If a woman came in, she scheduled a haircut, $40 haircut for the half hour. I did her hair. I spent a little bit more time on the styling part of it. I haven't cut her hair in probably about like 15 years. She was like, I was looking for you, I couldn't find you. I saw your mom, blah, blah. She comes in, I cut her hair, I styled it. She wanted her eyebrows done. So I cut her hair, $40. I styled her hair. I didn't charge her for the style. I charged her for the eyebrows. I just did it quick. It fit within my half-hour time frame. You understand what I'm saying? It fit within my half-hour time frame. Most people are paying for the half hour. I'm $60 an hour, $40 a half hour. I'm going up in my pricing. I know I can, but I still just enjoy cutting hair. So this is my pricing. I'm still more than the shop, but the guys are still getting $40 and $50 for their cuts as well. This girl is $40 for the haircut. I didn't charge her for the style. But when I billed her, she called me a week later and said, hey, I got charged $48. Why do you think she asked me why I charged her $48? If she paid for a $40 haircut. Boom. She forgot her eyebrows. I believe she called me because she thought you charged me $8 more. It wasn't for the style because I didn't ask you for the style. She didn't. I cut her hair. She wore her hair a little curly. And I wanted to look. I asked her, how are you going to wear your hair? Do you wear it like this? Do you wear it like that? She said, I like to straighten it, but I like it a little soft, wavy. I'm like, all right, cool. So I wanted to style it because I wanted to know that when she went home, if she styles it, how's it going to look? When she wets it, I got the wet look because I just wet it after I cut it. Boom, I got it. Let me blow dry and style it because if it's going to be a little off, let me cut it, clean it, and style it real quick. That was just part of my process. I didn't charge her for the style. I could have charged her another $15, $20 for the style, but I didn't. I only charged her for her eyebrows. So I said, you got your eyebrows done. She was, oh, that's right. I knew if I'd have said because I styled her, she would have said, I didn't ask you to style my hair. And then I would have been in the wrong because I charged her for something that she didn't get. While she was sitting in the chair, she said, can you do my eyebrows? I said, sure. Did her eyebrows real quick, charged her another $8. It took me 30 seconds to do her eyebrows, less than a minute. Easy. So it was light work. It was really not a big deal. I'll show you the pictures when I'm done. Did you stop the recording?
I'm off the screen.
Can't figure it out? Okay, all right. All right, it's still recording. I'll get it. So before we go real quick, we still got 5 minutes. Can somebody help clean this up real quick? And then look at you. Don't even try it. Yes. I wouldn't put, great question. I wouldn't put oil sheen on it. If I put oil sheen on it, it's going to weigh it down and it's going to drop. Okay? Now, if I wanted shine to it, then I would choose a product that has more shine to it.
What about like sparkles?
Like glitter and all that stuff? They do that for competition and stuff. If his name was Juan and he wanted his hair, I would do it like that. If that what he wanted, I'd display. Huh? I don't care. Bro, trust me, I don't even care. Yes, sir. Great question, though. Yeah.
What do you do to the judges, the competitions?
So, okay, a great question. So judging, competitions. So you guys know I'm undefeated in competitions, right? That's a little flex, just to let y'all know. I'm undefeated in competitions, but I don't like competitions. Back in 2005, 2006, 2007, we didn't have social media. So the way that you put yourself out there was do competitions. You guys are in school. Go compete. Take the learning lesson, take the L. You're going to learn something in the process. Whenever you're competing for the eye of the judge. So whoever the judges are, look at their work. What are the things that they look for in haircuts and in competition? Because you're cutting to be judged by somebody who does a certain thing. So if somebody styles hair and that is their thing, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna spend more time on the styling to make sure that there's clean, there's no extra fuzzies, that all these little pieces are in place. I'm gonna put hairspray on, it ain't moving. I'm also, if another judge is a really good fader, I'm gonna focus to make sure that my fade is clean. I'm gonna make sure there's none behind the ears, none on the neck when I take the cape off, there's all those little things. I'm looking at the rules. The rules say that the beard's not included, beard's not included. However, if I get the haircut done and it's crazy and I got a little bit more time, I'm gonna take time to make sure the beard looks clean because it's only gonna enhance the appearance of the overall look. I don't really like competitions now. Part of it political, the other part of it is what are you competing for? It's not bragging rights. That ain't it. You don't need a trophy to get clientele. You don't need a trophy to get recognized. If you're on social media and you're marketing yourself, it's about who does it best. Who's marketing themselves the best? Who's paying for followers? Who's paying for comments and likes? That's it. It's a facade. I used to get 200 something people on my live. I get, luckily on a Tuesday morning, 60 to 80 people. 80 is like great now if I get 80 people on my live. But I leave it up for 24 hours, 1,500 people will see it in a day. Then I get the views and likes and comments. I don't get as many comments as I used to get. I put a video up and get 30, 40, 50, sometimes 300 something comments. I get like 12, 13 comments now. I still leave the content up. I don't get discouraged by that. But I don't need the competition to promote myself. I just keep doing what I do on social media. I keep recording, documenting what I do, putting my location. Because for me, the school is about getting clients to get haircuts for the students. But when you look at the page, it's funny. I just left Cosmoprof. Lady stopped me. She said, "You know what I like about your school's page?" She said, "Because I follow you." I said, "What's that?" She said, there's not a lot of pictures of you." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "There's not a lot of pictures of you. Like most people want to highlight themselves." I said, "On my page, there's a lot of stuff of me. But on the Premier page, it's not. It's the teachers, it's the students. That's what you see on the page. Why? I want people who want haircuts to see students cutting hair. I want people who want to be barbers to see students cutting hair. I want somebody to look and be like, "Oh, she got dreads, she cut hair. Oh, I want to do that too." I want somebody to see Gary, be like, "He got gray hair, old heady in there cutting. I want to go to school too." If somebody is on the page and they look and they see somebody that looks like them and they're interested in barbering, chances are they're going to come. But if you was all black and you looked and everybody on the page was white, that school ain't for me. Vice versa. If you was white and all you saw was a bunch of black people on the page, school's probably not for me. But when you see Spanish, white, old, Puerto Rican, black, and it's diverse, what'd you say? Unless you. The point is for the school, I'm trying to show the girl cutting the guy. I'm trying to show the black student cutting the white guy. I'm trying to show the white student cutting the black guy. I want to show the guy cutting the girl's hair. I didn't take a picture of her cutting the lady's hair today, or even with Mr. D. It was great for a lesson, but mostly because it's a woman doing a woman's cut. If it was a guy, I would have probably put my priority into trying to get it. Even though it was a teaching, I think I got a little bit of it, but it wasn't the priority. When I see something that I know can stand out, I take a picture of it. And it's not how good the haircut is. That's not it. It's the visual that people are going to see because it tells a story. That's what it does. It tells a story. Somebody going to look at him and be like, "Oh, he at the school?" They're going to come for him. Somebody see Man Chaka and be like, "Oh, boom." If I post that he's a military and he's vet and he's active military and he's a vet, any vet who sees that be like, "Oh, he's a military guy?" Boom. That's what's up. I can use my VA benefits to be a barber. That makes sense to promote that. Do you know what I'm saying? If I took a picture of him in uniform and I took a picture of him cutting hair and I just put a post that says, "You are active military or retired, use your GI Bill." They'll look at that and be like, "Oh, this guy is military." That's a simple conversation. You want to be a crossover student? That's the cosmetology girl with her makeup and her hair done doing a skin fade on Malik. That's a visual that I'm looking for. Why you laughing, Malik? I think you're going to miss coming here. You know that? So any other questions, guys? Nah? Well, I appreciate your time. I hope that this was helpful. Did you learn something? All right, before you go, if y'all want to leave, what was the biggest takeaway? We're around the room. Biggest takeaway. Let me come back to you. Biggest takeaway.
In order to stand the hair up like that, go in, do some interior cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that there's hairs that's smaller than the hairs that's longer.
Okay, so the short hairs hold the long hairs up. What you got, Dave? It's going to suck when I get over here.
Put everything you've already learned into the cutting.
Say that again?
Put everything you already learned and combine it.
Just combine it. I like that. Take all the little tools, get your little toolbox out. Let me try this. The key is to try it. Just try it. And if you have somebody who wants creative cut, at first when I started chopping it, like, "Dang, he done tore his whole front up." But how's it look now though? Right? And it could be shorter. I could do a lot more with this. But if you have a client who's into that, you'd be like, "Yo, can I do a little something with you?" See, I can't do that with him. He wants a real sharp line in the front. But if we take the sides of his closer, I can do a whole lot with the top right now. I could still leave it sharp in the front. I could do a whole lot with the top. If he let me do a skin fade on him, I can really do some of this, but still have it where it looks like that on top. It'll look like that on top, but if I style it, it can look similar to this on the top. With a sharp line on the front and No, what I'm saying is take all the little tools and apply them. Just figure out what you want to do. He don't got to wear it like this. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Experiment with the products.
Experimenting with products. I like that.